Hello, my name is Matthew Annis, and I am nominated for Cardinal Season 3 by the time you read this in the category of Best Picture Editing, Television/Movie Series. The highlight for me working on Cardinal was getting to travel to set, actually in North Bay. Got to visit the crew and the cast, and because it's rare that I get to travel outside the edit suite. So that was actually a very big treat. A favorite editing trick that I use is Apple Z. It's very handy for every mistake that I make, which is a lot. So I recommend Apple Z. Another trick or tip that I have is using the actor's eyes to help with cuts. And you have to trust that they will give you the opportunity to cut, and I find all the emotion is usually there, and it's very helpful for my cutting technique anyway. You can watch Cardinal on Crave TV.
Hi, my name is Gillian Truster, and I was nominated in the category of Best Editing in a Television Drama for Anne with an E. There were a lot of highlights of working on Anne with an E. I mean, I loved working with the showrunner, Moira Wally-Beckett. I think she's a genius. She's very collaborative. And I loved working with the whole post team, which comprised of Lisa Grotenborg, Rosalind Kalu, and Sandra Gillian, and Louis Casado, and Jeffrey Collins. And they're all very talented people. And they're just good people. So we just had a lot of fun. And I also love working with the director of this episode, Paul Fox, who's also a great person and very collaborative. And so for me, I love working on projects where I find the project itself challenges me, and it's about things that are important to me. And also that I'm also working with good people. For me, all of those things are equally important. But a real highlight for me, actually, of this show in particular is I love it when men have come up to me and said how much they love watching the show. And I think the fact that this show is about the world of a 16-year-old girl, and it's just a real testament to the quality of the show and the universality of the themes. But I think for me, it's also that when I was growing up, I didn't know very men who would never mind admitting they like the show. I don't think they would have given it a shot. And so in some way, I feel like it just, for me, gives me a little bit of hope for the world. I don't have any editing tricks, but I do have an approach that I'd like to share, that I feel like it helps speed up my editing process by using my subconscious to help problem solve. And what I mean by that is sometimes I think that sometimes people can take a long time to edit something because they find it difficult to make choices. They get stuck in trying to make the perfect choices, as if there is such a thing. And for me, I think it's about not worrying about that at all. So when I get the footage, I watch all the footage for a scene, and I make mental notes about which performances I like, what shots I like, and then I just slam that scene together. And most of the time, I don't even watch what I've done before I move on to the next scene. Because what happens is I will, the next day, look at the scene and recut it. And so the thing is, when I look at that scene, what I've done the previous day, is literally 99% of the time, it's actually terrible. I mean, it's honestly on the very rare occasion, I will look at what I've done. I'll be like, oh, I actually nailed that on the first try. But that's literally 1% of the time without exaggeration. And the thing is, though, when I look at that scene again, I find that it's much easier to cut. And because I find it much easier to work from something, and that helps me figure out what I should do with the scene. But I don't think it's just that. I think what's happened is overnight, my mind has been problem solving and it just is easier. So literally when I will look at that same scene the next day, it's just so much easier. So, and then what I'll do is I will chip away at scenes over the course of the entire assembly process. The thing is to remember, you don't have to achieve perfection the first day. You have all of that time to work on the scenes and the episode or the film before anybody else is going to see it. People can watch Anne with an E on Netflix and CBC Gem.
Hey everybody, I'm John Nicholls, and I've been nominated this year for Best Editing in Television Comedy for Little Dog Round 8. Honestly, a highlight, besides getting to see Newfoundland twice for the first time, has been the people involved. I got to cut Andy Jones and Mary Walsh. Like, I even got to meet these people on set. It's been great. But I have to give a big shout out to Duncan, Dev, and James, my other editors on the show, along with Dave Dunham, the assistant editor, and Rachel Sutherland, the post super. It's just been a great group of people to work with. And I have to thank Amy Cameron specifically and Sherry White for allowing me to be part of it. If you feel like checking Little Dog out, it's available via CBC Gem or iTunes.
Hi, I'm Thom Smalley, and together with the magnificent Sam Thomson, we are nominated for 2 2020 CCE Awards for our work on the show Save Me. The episodes are Animal and Birdie's End. A highlight there's lots of highlights. A highlight for me personally was I watched the first season of Save Me that Sam cut and loved it. I loved the show. I loved the concept. And so when I was invited to edit with him on the second season, it was just it was a job that I made sure I got. Like it was something I really wanted to do, which was great. But I think the true highlight is that it puts a spotlight on first responders. And even though the stories in the show are quite unique, sort of one-off situations, I think it really shows that first responders don't know what they're walking into. Each situation is unique, and it's very unpredictable. And it shows that we really need to appreciate the first responders. And I love the fact that Fab Filippo, who's the creator of Save Me, this season tackled how it affects the people that are coming to save us, and the trauma that they experience going out on these 911 calls. And I think, it's very important and relevant right now with the global pandemic, and it just shows how much we need to support the people who are there to save us. This is always such a hard question because I feel like, are there any tips or tricks left out there? Like, I feel like they're all out there anyway. I don't know. It's very difficult because I feel like the whole job is smoke and mirrors and trickery. Every cut you make is a trick for the audience. So I feel like one thing I like to do, I guess, is I color everything, every clip, if it's a whether by character or even like close up or medium on characters, I color them all differently. And not only is it very satisfying to edit in this rainbow, but it's also it's nice to look at, So it feels good. It helps when you're in the dead of winter, which we were on this show, and in a basement too. It helps, to have some color, I think, in your life. Save Me is available to watch for free on CBC Gem.